shit, we are 9 albums deep into Papa Roach's career. What's up everyone, John from ARTV. It is time for a review of, yes, album number 9, Crooked Teeth. Yes, I have one of those right down here, as some of the assholes in the comments like to point out sometimes. It's by Papa Roach. This band has been going since the late 90s. Somehow, still seems to have a pretty steady fan base, and they caught me off guard by dropping a surprisingly good, not amazing, but very good single, Help, back in February. I didn't even know that they were working on new material because I don't keep up or really care that much about Papa Roach. But Help had my ear, and I was like, okay, and that was right around when some other pop bands, I suppose former rock bands, were dropping pop material, so it stood out to me as a rock band actually releasing rock material. So I could get behind it, but I've never really been huge into Papa Roach. Yes, I was into their album Getting Away with Murder whenever it came out in like 2005, 2006. I had friends that were totally into that sound and everything, and Scars was at one point my MySpace profile song. That's as far into my history with Papa Roach as I want to go. And years later, Jacoby Shaddix, the lead singer of this band, just decided he would start rapping again. He had kind of phased it out for a while on some of their albums like Metamorphosis, and then kind of brought it back, and they just messed with a lot of different genres. Fear was just a total mess, and I feel like a lot of it was just lost in the lyrical content, where he seemed to be on this imaginary island somewhere where he was just taking on everything and everybody was fighting him, but it was all in his head. And here, I do feel like they've kind of touched back to the ground. The moon boots are landing once again on this record, and we've got 10 songs on the standard edition. A lot if you get like the super deluxe or whatever it is, but most of it is live stuff. There are 3 bonus tracks, but of course I only review standard editions. The bonus songs, I've heard them, and they're really nothing that I'm gravitating towards, nothing at least better than the material on the standard 10 songs. So what does this record sound like? Crooked Teeth was the kickoff single, the title track from this thing, and it does kind of have a jagged punch to it. It's okay. There's some restraint in the verses, and then it kind of whips you with the guitar chords that strike, and there is a tenacity and power in the vocals, but it's something that I just can't get too excited about. But I will say I like it, but I'm kind of cautious about it because it's just like, okay, what are they going to do with this sound? Because that's track number 2, and that precedes actually one of the biggest songs on here, one of the most bombastic ones, I would say. Reminds me of some of their older stuff, My Medication, and that one just screams cheesy to me. It seems to be about maybe getting your fix, whether it be actually drugs or alcohol or something, and maybe comparing that to a relationship or a certain rush or adrenaline fix that you're looking for, and it just comes off as kind of this song that I could be unfazed by. If I never heard it again, I wouldn't think twice about it. And that's the problem with Papa Roach in general these days. Not that they ever just were really making albums that were pioneering genres by any means, but at least they have some songs that would get ingrained in your memory. Like, come on, Getting Away with Murder, it had that dark, ominous guitar and like the whispered vocals, and you actually thought that maybe he had committed a crime. But here, if he's telling me anything, I'm not buying what he's selling. And that's kind of a problem whenever you can't even get down and kind of take it, even if it is a little bit silly, cheesy. Some bands, I can totally get on board with it, but Papa Roach just aren't one of those for me. Help is a damn good song though. That is really the one here that stands tall. I'm also enjoying Periscope for what it is. It features Skylar Grey. You guys might actually know her from back in the day. She was originally just going by her name Holly Brook, featured on the Fort Minor song. I almost said Linkin Park. The Fort Minor song, Where'd You Go? It was a pretty good track, and then years later, after she transitioned to her stage name Skylar Grey, you might know her from Coming Home, that hit that Diddy had a few years back, and Bed of Lies with Nicki Minaj, and her voice actually sounds pretty good here. I honestly like this track, and even though the lyrics, I don't know what exactly that means, love you through a periscope or from a periscope or whatever, I don't exactly know what that means, but in this day and age, I'm thinking maybe it has something to do with Twitter's live streaming applicant, love you through Periscope. No, I'm not that naive, but this track just, it has something special to it. It's not so over the top, it doesn't take itself too seriously, and it seems to be, like I was talking about, kind of a landing moment, one that's a little bit more of a humanized feel, and I enjoy that coming from Papa Roach, especially how the rest of this record turned out, like tracks with Machine Gun Kelly. I mean, he's coming off an awful album, and then we get a track that you see the title and you're like, is this gonna be a joke? And I was kind of hoping it would be, but it's called Sunrise Trailer Park, and we get brought into that aura and that atmosphere with just the crickets and some opening and slamming of doors and that sort of thing, and we get to hear about these real gritty situations that just, even if they are true and if they are real, just coming from Machine Gun Kelly and then Jacoby Shaddix's rapping, it doesn't exactly do the trick for me whatsoever. I've never really thought Jacoby was that skilled of an MC, and he's not exactly doing anything to challenge my opinion of that on this record. Although I will say the opening moment, Break the Fall, is one of the better ones here. I've come back to it a few times. I actually looped it over twice just whenever I first started playing the record, because I was like, that one was pretty good. I think I might have missed a few things there. Was it paying close enough attention the first time? So I came back to it, gave it another listen, and it breaks in with this kind of slow intro, but then it really just takes off from there, and I like that. The fuse is lit. Jacoby definitely feels like he's coming from more of a genuine place on this one, and the rapping and the rocking on this, it's a mishmash of the two worlds that kind of works in their favor. Overall, I think there's a lot of skippable stuff, a lot of silly stuff, like the opening to Traumatic. I laughed out loud, I think, like one of the first or second times I ever heard this song. It's not exactly something that you're going to want to gravitate towards, especially if you're looking for something that you can just sink into, a good rap rock album, I guess I should say. Some of the songs definitely bleed together, like Traumatic and None of the Above at the end. I mean, they're both kind of hard to take seriously, and I see that on Born for Greatness as well. The way that he raps on the chorus on that one, it's just like, who are you trying to pump up here? Like an army of 13-year-olds somewhere? Oh, I don't really care for this record. There's a few songs that I definitely think are pretty good. I don't think, me personally, I'll be coming back to it very often. It's better than their last album for sure. Musically, there's some great stuff here if you're into like the whole rap rock scene and just stuff that sounds like, I don't know, maybe nu metal in 2017 and that sort of thing. I'm not knocking that at all, because there's definitely a market for that sound, and I enjoy some of the riffs here, some of the drumming, the bass work. I could definitely appreciate, like the title track is great, Help is catchy as hell on that acoustic that opens it up, and even on Traumatic, even though I don't like the majority of the song, there's some slamming guitar riffs there that actually sound nice. So I'm going to be generous and give Papa Roach's new album, Crooked Teeth, their 9th studio album, a 2.5 out of 5. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Don't forget to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel, because friends don't let friends go unsubscribed. If you're able to, support me on Patreon. I've been cranking out a lot of content lately. I think you guys have really been loving it, and the patrons and of course some of the sponsors that I have are keeping that going right now, especially during the ad crisis. So thank you to everyone who is supporting. Socials in the description, a couple of recent videos right here, and I'll see you very soon right here on ARTV.